So are K-1 visas, fiancé visas, exempt from the proclamation, the new proclamation on non-immigrant visas ban, or not? Well, we'll be getting some conflicting reports from different embassies around the world, and in this video, we'll let you know what the issue is. Stay tuned, and I'll see you on the other side. Hello everybody. So in this video, we'll talk about the K-1 visa, the fiancé visa that is really being a hot topic right now, specifically after the second proclamation that have been issued for non-immigrant visas. There is even more confusion right now because there seems to be an inconsistent adjudication between certain embassies, specifically the ones in Europe, and many embassies in Asia have different ways how they view K-1 visas, whether they are considered to be non-immigrant visas or immigrant visas, and whether they are included in the ban or are exempt. So we'll talk about that. I have a few emails that we have collected from a few embassies, so we can read an example of an email and just kind of discuss how it's going to impact K-1 visas and what will happen. And it's really important to bring this topic to light because I haven't seen too many videos that talk about that. And I think it's really important because we're getting so many questions about, are K-1 visas affected? Can we proceed with interviews with K-1 visas? Are going to be able to come here? Those that don't have visas yet, our families going to be separated? And so it's really important to discuss that. Before we dive in, if you're here for the first time, make sure you subscribe to our channel. Click that bell to be notified because we produce videos every single week and I don't want you to miss any of our videos. Don't forget to give a like to this video because the more likes you give, the more YouTube will share this video with people just like you who are going to be able to benefit from this information. So let's talk about K-1 visas and this whole mess around it. But before we talk about that, just wanted to say one thing. You know that in the past few days we get so much anxiety. So many people are concerned and anxious about these changes, and it really makes me feel that this proclamation is not necessarily designed to protect our labor force. For me, I see it as more of a direct intention to separate families. And we're talking about K-1 visa here. This is a long process. Those of you that went through this process, you know that there's a U.S. citizen who is in the U.S. trying to immigrate their fiancé from abroad, and it's the same for many other family petitions. And this proclamation, the way it's designed, yes, it's focused on non-immigrant visa for work, but remember that every worker has a family member, and people and families are being separated. And this language of this proclamation, the way it's drafted, it's going to create more family separation, more delays, more anxiety in hardworking immigrants who are currently in the U.S. who cannot join their families overseas. I think we're going to see this impact, the devastation, months in the future. And so hopefully we'll be able to find a way to either get the administration to rethink this and find better ways to move forward when they impose restrictions like that. Which is just kind of my idea of this. So, and I'm sure many of you would like to hear your thoughts about this. But for me, it's not more of a way to protect our labor force. It's more of a direct intention of this government to stop immigration, and that's what they're doing. So let's talk about K-1s. So as you know, the original proclamation specifically stated that, and I'm going to read the paragraph, and it specifically says, suspension of limitation of entry pursuant to Section 1 of this proclamation should apply only to aliens who are outside the United States on the effective date of the proclamation, do not have an immigrant visa that is valid on the effective date of this proclamation. So this is the original proclamation from April, right? And this particular one was focused on aliens on immigrant visas. And K-1 visas are non-immigrant visas. They are defined by law as non-immigrant visas. The government describes them as non-immigrant visas and processes them in embassies at the non-immigrant visa sections. So they are non-immigrant visas, and we presumed, and this is what we confirmed, that up until maybe a few weeks ago, that K-1s are non-immigrant visas and they were exempt from the original ban, and now with this extension should be exempt from this proclamation as well. But guess what? We're getting reports that embassies, specifically in Europe, in the Schengen countries. You know, we have Germany, we have London, we got Paris, as well as a few other countries among the Schengen countries that are not seeing that way, not seeing that interpretation that way, and they are excluding K1 visas. And let me read you this email from the London embassy that we got a hold of. Let me read you this email. This is from the London embassy. And let me read it real quick. So we understand your concern regarding visas and travel in light of coronavirus. We hope that this information will help answer your questions. On June 22nd, 2020, the President signed a proclamation which extends the previous proclamation 10,014 and suspends the entry of certain additional foreign nationals to the United States through December 31st, 2020. Under the proclamation, the Department of State temporarily will continue not to issue certain categories of immigrant visas, continuing PP 10014 and including K1, as well as most, and not issue H1B, H2B, L, and J, and certain J non-immigrant visas. So, as you can see, this embassy specifically categorizes K visas as immigrant visas. And now, the person that shared this email with us, their visas were immediately canceled. Their appointments, not visas, their appointments to get their visas were immediately canceled without further notice. So, and again, that's not the only person. There were quite a few people that were sending us, we have this Facebook group. And if any of you are watching this and you want to join the Facebook group, the link is in the description. The beauty of the group is that we have so many people from so many different countries, and we start, I ask people, can you share with us any examples? And we start getting examples of people that are being canceled, they're getting their interviews canceled. In this particular case, K1s. And this is just an example of the same email we got from a bunch of embassies in Europe. This is from London, but it's the same language. Now, so that's very disturbing because, again, this goes in contrary to what we always believed and what we knew from the previous proclamation, that K1 visas are non-immigrant visas and they are exempt from this order. So now let's go back and to an embassy in the Philippines, which is another jurisdiction, which is a totally different embassy, and let's see what they posted on their Infonet website as a service to their K1 applicants. So let me read you what they say in the Philippines. In the Philippines, we have, on April 22nd, President Trump signed a proclamation suspending entry into the United States of certain immigrants who presented risk to the U.S. labor market during the economic recovery following COVID-19. The proclamation, effective at 11:59 p.m. EAT on April 23rd, expires in 60 days unless continued by the President. The U.S. citizens, lawful permanent residents, certain non-immigrant visas, including K visas, and those holding valid immigrant visas on the effective date of the proclamations are not subject to the proclamation. No value will be revoked under this proclamation. Right? So this is from the embassy, the U.S. Embassy in Manila. Right? So again, it's the same government. We are in the same government, but one embassy is telling us that K1 visas are immigrant visas and the K1 visas are non-immigrant visas and they are barred and banned under this proclamation. And another embassy is telling us that, same U.S. government, they're telling us that K1 visas are not subject to the proclamation. So now what happens is that as embassies are going to be reopening, we're going to start seeing people in the Philippines, in Manila, start being scheduled for their appointments. I sent an email to the State Department to try to get some clarifications. We're also working with our organization, the American Immigration Lawyers Association, to see if there's some clarity there, to get some information from our liaison committees. As of now, this is where it stands. So certain embassies are processing K1 visas. They will be accepting them and they're considering them to be outside of this ban. And others, specifically in Europe, are not. And this is something that has not been resolved. In fact, there's a petition running around for people to sign to force the government to include K1 visas as an exemption to this ban, and I'll post a link to one of these petitions. So there's a bunch of petitions around there. We linked to one of them. In this petition, they want to classify K1 visas as immediate relatives. I'm not sure the terminology is really correct there, but the idea is the same. Try to make sure that K1 visas should be excluded from this ban. And once again, like I mentioned before, K1 visas should have never been part of this ban. K1 visas, they're coming to the United States to join their US citizen sponsors. Remember, K1 visas are those sponsored by US citizens. So the first proclamation, as well as the second one, specifically said that spouses of US citizens are exempt from this. Well, guess what? K1 visas, when they come to the United States, after 90 days, they're going to become spouses. So there's no reason in the first place to include them in the ban, because it doesn't make sense. If these people are going to be separated from their families, which again, I believe is the main intention, the main focus of this government is to separate families. If that's the intention, then we know that some embassies got an order to exclude these K1 visas so families will not be able to be joined together. But if you look at the law the way it should be looked at, K1 visas are non-immigrant visas and they should be excluded from this order, from this executive order. So I will keep you posted once we know more what's happening. But right now, the way the situation is right now, be careful where you are, which embassy you're processing. And again, if this continues, I mean, who knows if people are going to start, to do embassy shopping just because the fact that they won't be able to join their fiancés, because it's crazy that they're going to have to be waiting for more than a year to join a family member that they want to start a life together. So this is not right. This has to be changed right away. K1 visas should not be barred under this proclamation. They were not considered to be barred under the first one, and I don't think it should be barred under this one, meaning that it all should be unified. K1 visas are non-immigrant visas, and they should be, again, excluded from this bar. So we'll keep you posted, but for the moment, I just wanted to share with you what's happening in the world so you know and be aware. And a lot of people are asking, a lot of people are commenting, and hopefully this video will bring you some clarity. So once again, make sure to subscribe to our channel, do not miss any of our videos, and please join our Facebook group where you can get more of that information, because again, I knew about this because members of the group shared those emails in the group, and I was able to be informed right away and share that information with you here on YouTube. So thank you for watching. Drop a comment, let me know questions that you have about this or any other issues, and then I'll see you in our next video.